What's up, guys? Welcome to A Vibe Called West Radio. Today we have a very special guest, Kwajo. What's up, man? How are you doing today?
I'm blessed, man. How you doing?
Doing really well. Really excited to be able to talk to you and just, I want right off the bat, I want to say just your enthusiasm, positivity, and just eagerness to like come on this platform and share your story and just like be a part of, the conversation. I'm just really happy that you're coming on, man. I feel really good about this episode. So thank you.
No, thank you. I'm super blessed and fortunate to be on here. You guys reaching out. Whenever somebody wants to take the time to get to know me, my story, or anything about my music, I consider that such a blessing. And I actually found out about you guys through my boy Joey Hip Hop. He gave me a shout out when he was on here. So, I'm just very blessed and fortunate to be on here. I really appreciate you guys for your time.
Yeah, of course. And shout out Joey. He's such a similar to you, just positive part of this amazing community that we love.
Absolutely.
He has been such a great just friend to this podcast. He had a great episode and he's given us so many amazing artists like you. So I'm happy that you shouted him out because I was gonna shout him out.
Absolutely.
And then, kind of before we dive into the episode, I've been doing some research and I gotta say, man, there's one thing that I wanted to tell you before we started, and it's that Digimon Adventure Season 1 is the best season.
Oh my gosh. This is already going to be the greatest interview ever. I found my people. We can devote a whole other episode to just talking about Digimon or whatever you want. But
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah.
I agree, Digimon is goated and is better than Pokemon. But we'll leave it at that for now. We'll leave it at that for now.
I love it. I saw just how passionate you were about the seasons. And yeah, I mean, like I was me and my sister who's like not even like I don't like she doesn't like love anime like I do, but like even like
Right.
when we were younger, like Digimon was so good. So when I saw you tweeting about that, I wanted to say like I love that show too when I was a kid.
Dude,
It was like
it's
it's the best
awesome.
and it's still amazing.
Literally,
Uh,
dude.
and then I also now so we're gonna pivot a little bit now to the more traditional part of the interview. I just wanted to also wait before we get into that. How was your finals? Because I know you're a college student. I want to ask how that went for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually perfect timing. I know we were originally scheduled to have the interview Tuesday, but it turns out I actually had like two finals that day as well. So knocked those out, and the rest are kind of just like projects and presentations. So it's going smoothly. It's my last year. Just the final stretch. Senioritis is kind of kicking in, but you know, we're making it through. We're making it through for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, so again, like, I love just, you know, being diligent about that in the way that the capacity that you can right now, but
Right.
also, like, what an amazing way that you're kind of teeing up your life post college right now with all these releases and just the success that you're having. So it's a really kind of seems like a great path that you're on. So I'm really happy to hear that.
I appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Yeah, of course. And then, so guys, for the listeners, new and old, the way that we do this interview is prior to the interview, I asked Kwajo what was his favorite album of all time. He said it was Care for Me by Saba. So, what I did is I went to Spotify, I seeded the songs based on total number of streams, 1 through 8, and I put it into a tournament bracket. So, the way that the songs progress, Kwajo's opinion. Kwajo, are you ready to find out the best song on Care for Me by Saba?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't think there is an answer, but for for this purpose, we got to find one. We got to narrow it
Exact.
down.
Yeah, for the exercise. And like I understand it's tough, especially when it's your favorite album. And like there's an album like, I think one of the amazing parts of this album is how short it is. And because of its length, each song is so incredibly strong.
Absolutely.
So I would imagine that it's going to be a little difficult. But thank you for doing the exercise with me. And let's start off with the first matchup. So the first matchup is going to be Life versus Smile.
Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna be completely transparent and honest here. When I first heard "Care for Me" back in 2019, for some reason, out of all the songs, "Life" was not hitting the hardest. Not to say I didn't like it, but it wasn't hitting the hardest. But then a couple months later, I saw Saba and Pivot Gang in DC, and Saba did "Life," and instantly my opinion just completely flipped. Like it's just one of those songs that like not even from a lyrical standpoint, but sonically, it's just so you can hear the passion with like every single bar and the way he's enunciating everything. So I'm gonna have to go with Life on this one. Smile is an incredible very happy track. Of course, if you listen to my music, you know I just love radiating happiness in the songs. But when it's going up against life, it's like, it's like you're standing under the rim and LeBron's about to slam dunk it. You like there's
Yeah,
no other option here.
of course. I think there's a reason why it's the number one seed, and it's so different sonically than the rest of the album. It's
Absolutely,
stripped back, but it's so hard,
it's so hard.
and just like some of the bars on it, I'm trying to remember specifically. Yeah, I just it's pretty incredible. I think it's a great choice, and again, you did a great job of explaining. And you know, one of the biggest parts of this podcast is bringing on people that love music and create music. So when you're able to really uh, distill why you like a song, it really helps the listener. So that was a great answer. Let's now go to the second matchup, which is going to be Busy slash Sirens versus Prom
Oh
slash
my
King. That's a
gosh.
crazy matchup,
Nah,
dude.
nah, nah. This is literally the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life.
What's good?
Busy. Oh my gosh. These are literally like two Hall of this should have been the first matchup.
Yeah,
This should have been the
this
championship.
should have been the championship. It's
This should
so
have been the
this
championship.
is like Duke versus North Carolina in like the first round. This is crazy.
Because you have Busy Sirens, which is arguably the greatest intro track ever made.
Yeah.
Just like the way he was able to seamlessly transition the two. Um, and the fact that it wasn't even a cohesive piece when he first dropped it as a single. I think he dropped Busy and Siren separately. But and then you have Prom King, which is arguably the greatest storytelling song of all time. It's like, what do you do? Oh my gosh, this is
Yeah.
gosh.
It's a really tough one. And I agree. It's interesting actually. I had, the artist Dende.
Oh yeah, Denny's a
Yeah.
goat.
He's amazing. And that's actually his favorite intro of all time is Busy slash Sirens. I interviewed him actually right here in this place, right up
That's
there.
crazy. I
So
was actually watching some of that interview like a couple of days ago when you guys were breaking down Usher's album.
yeah.
That's fire.
It's right here. But I know, man, this is a tough
Oh
one. I'm
gosh.
sorry.
I'm
All
a
this go.
Busy Sirens, like you have the point of view of like just what it's like to be black, in a world where people fear you just for existing. Um, Riding through the city, I'm young, I'm black, I'm guilty. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
And then you have Prom King, which essentially captivates the whole theme of the album with Saba dealing with the loss of his cousin. And that storytelling is something that I've never heard before. Like I remember the first time I heard that song, I was just speechless. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh. Like both have struck me in such an influential way.
Hmm.
But oh my gosh. Sab, if you see this, just know every song on this album is a 10. But for today, we're gonna have to go with Prom King. We're gonna have to send Prom King forward.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that I know it's tough, but I think you broke it down in a really amazing way. Both are very honest, but I think the linear story of Prom slash King is like I feel like a lot of people, not a lot of people, but like there could be songs like Busy slash Sirens, but there's only one Prom slash King. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
yeah. No, but that's tough. I'm sorry I didn't do that in the first
It's
round.
and it's like even with like you feel like you're not there in that moment, but at the same time, like you feel like you're there in that moment. Like everything sonically, even up until the end, like at the very end, there's like somebody breathing really heavy.
Hmm.
And like when I listen to that, I'm like so invested. And then when it gets to that just heavy breathing, I feel like I'm out of breath. And all I did was sit there and listen. So just kudos to the GOAT that Saba is and how he's able to really, really, really paint a vivid picture with everything that he makes. So
Yeah, and
again,
just and really transfer that emotion, like how he was feeling when writing that, is how the listener kind of leaves
absolutely.
grieving and just no, that's a very good explanation. That was awesome. So, guys, what you're seeing right now is Kwajo doing an amazing job of breaking down his favorite album, but I actually now want to focus on him a little bit because he's an incredible artist. So I've been doing some research and I want to paint, no, just like shed a light on some of his creations and kind of just delve into his mind. So First, I always think it's important for artists to distinguish themselves by creating not only a brand, but a true unique world that their fans can go to interact with their creations. I firmly believe that you've done that by both explaining and leaning into the word Spleck. You coined it as your Hakuna Matata. And when I say the word Spleck, what is the first thing that you think of?
Wow. Well, right now, like just recency bias, I just had a really good piece of mac and cheese pizza. So that what comes to mind as Spleck. But overall, it's just on a more serious note, just my life and all the many blessings that I've been bestowed upon recently. Just being able to wake up every day, is something I really consider Spleck, and just the relationships I have, the people in my corner, the music I'm making, just feeling a lot of gratitude. I kind of coined this phrase forever in a constant state of gratitude, and not only is just like a message to everyone for how I feel, but a message to myself, that blessings in this life, big or small, you gotta appreciate all of them. So yeah, that's really what Spleck is to me right now at the moment.
What a amazing word to lean on, like gratitude. Like that is something that I think is universal and that people should really focus on more, especially, it's around the holidays and just it's a lot of
Absolutely.
things that are going on in people's lives and just to be and although it's busy, like to have the gratitude like be the paramount word is really powerful. And I want to ask, so
Absolutely.
I know when you were coming up with the word, you had a tendency just to create words that were maybe not in the dictionary. Are you finding that you're still doing that to this day?
Definitely not as much as I was before, just because like Spleck resonated with me so hard. I kind of just hit the ground running with that. But yeah, I definitely just, lean on that phrase when I just apply it to a lot of real world things. And unfortunately, I'm not in the business of just creating, synthetic words anymore. But who knows? Maybe one day that'll pop back up. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's Spleck Macchiato Rivera for now.
I love that. And it was so sick. I remember when I saw the video where you said the three words. So, and then did that. So I know it's the name of the album.
Yes, sir.
So that was then, would you say the thesis or kind of like the guiding emotion of the songs?
Absolutely, absolutely. So funny enough that we're breaking down Care for Me. So I started making music back in 2019, which is the same year I coined the phrase Spleck. And of course, first getting into music, kind of just learning how to navigate things. Of course, everyone who starts out naturally wears all their inspirations on their sleeve. You can really hear it in their attempts to make music. And of course, Saba and Amine were the two biggest influences. Saba being my favorite rapper, Amine being a very close second. Loved the way that Amine was very fun with his melodic flow and just had fun with his music. And Saba, the more introspective, vulnerable side. But of course, I fell in love with Care for Me, and that was really the motivator for me to just rap. So in my attempt to first culminate Spleck back in 2019, Spleck back in 2019 was literally an attempt to just recreate my version of Care for Me.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I was just found myself struggling because obviously it wasn't coming from an authentic place. It was coming from a kind of, command V, command C, copy paste type of mindset. But once again, I'm just grateful to God for instilling such patience in me, and really taking my time with this project because, over time, as I sat with it, as I made the songs in quarantine, as I just continued to live life, as I really expanded on what Spleck was and what it meant to me, it turned into this beautiful thing that completely changed the concept of the project, completely changed the meaning of the project, and completely changed everything about Spleck. So what you hear, today in that album is, just a culmination of those past 3 years and everything that, went into that.
Yeah, I mean, what a beautiful lesson for, the inevitable young artist that falls in love with your music and wants to go back to your origins and see, because we always do that. We are like, oh, like what are these interviews like and how they are like. What a great lesson that you're distilling is like allow the art to naturally change because it's going to as you change, and it's so true when you first start creating music, you emulate the people that inspired you to want to make music. So I'm happy that
Absolutely.
you went through the I would say very common steps of then like creating your own thing. So, guys, it's a fantastic album. Please take a listen. I'm gonna dive into one of the records in a second, but before we move on from the word Spleck, I gotta ask. So, like on like the totem pole of Spleck of how amazing something would be, how Spleck would it be if the Washington Commanders won the Super Bowl?
Oh my gosh. Don't even get me started. All right. I'm not even gonna lie. Spleck for the Washington Commanders means making the playoffs. Let's just
That's
start
right.
there.
Yeah.
Like this team has put me through the blender for the past I'm 22 and I became a fan when I was like 6 or 7. So like it's been quite some time. Obviously the last time we had any type of Spleck was, when RG3 was around. But, you know, the amount of Spleck that would radiate from a playoff win, let alone a Super Bowl, my gosh, I don't know. Like people would have to block me on all social media because I would not stop talking about it for like the rest of my life.
Uh, they would have to play one of your songs at the parade. That'd be
Oh my
awesome.
gosh, they need to.
Yeah, that's so sick. I wanted to ask. I'm a big football fan as well.
Oh yeah, let's
Uh,
go.
awesome. So now I want to go kind of more, granular with just a specific record on the album. And your record "That's Tough" was put on Fresh Finds Hip Hop, which most independent artists consider the gateway to a new level of their career. How did you find out about your placement? What did the process/life cycle of that placement look like? And how beneficial would you say it was for both your mentality and the growth of your career?
Yeah, so before we even get into that, I want to start at the origins of this song. I'm gonna kind of just give a shout out to a few people. So I found the beat for That's Tough on SoundCloud back in 2019, so my first year making music. And the moment I heard it, I was like, yeah, like I need to like rap on this song. And I was like, and I need a feature, somebody who's just gonna take the top off and just run off with it. And originally I had a couple features in mind because it was my first year doing music. I knew some artists, but not too many. I had this one artist named Jay Davis, local DMV artist, amazing. But I sat on it more and more. Quarantine came around, and Tall Cohen, the feature on That's Tough, um, actually came into my life by emailing my brother Shinobi, and he was like, "Yo, I think you're really dope. Would love to pay you to get on my song." And then so he's like, "Wow, I mean, it was both our first year doing music." He's like, "This has never happened before. Let me listen to this." He sends a track, and when I tell you like my job was on the floor, I was like, "Why is he asking you to pay him? Like, I feel like we need to pay him." Like he was just an incredible wordsmith and assassin with how he crafted his words. And the moment I heard him rap for the first time, I was like, okay, I need you to be on the song. So 2021, 2022 came around when I really started crafting the project. I sent it off to Tall, and his verse is really long, and I was like, yo, if you feel like you need to punch in or anything, like let me know. I can pick up from there. And he was like, bro, do you know who I am? And like within like 24 hours, he sends me back probably the craziest feature verse I ever heard in my life. And then, before the project even dropped, I was telling Tom, I was like, if any song is gonna go crazy on Spleck, besides Inside Out, obviously, it's gotta be That Stuff. Like you carried this song to a whole nother level. And he's like, yeah. And then, Spleck dropped in. It was a little bit quiet for a while. Nothing too crazy was going on. And then Carl Cherry, a head curator at Spotify, he does this thing on Twitter where he tweets, "Yo, I'm doing a listening session. Drop a link to a song. I'll check it out, see if I like it." And then I've done it in the past, and what he does is he'll either send a screen recording of him listening to a little bit of the song or like it to show that he listens to the song. I've had it with a couple of my songs. He's heard it, but nothing really resonated with him, I guess. And so I have his tweet notifications on because like I can't miss when he does things like that. And so the moment he tweeted that, I was on my phone, and so I instantly dropped a link to That's Tough. And a couple minutes go by, hundreds of submissions, of course, pile in, and he replies and says, "I really like this. I listened to the entire song." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is crazy." And so I'm like, he has to like throw it on like Rap Caviar or something, right? And then, to God be the glory, we ended up on Fresh Finds Hip Hop, and Spilled Ink.
Mm-hmm.
Still on there to this day. And we actually made Fresh Finds Hip Hop Best of 2023. So, just another huge blessing that wouldn't be possible without Tall, my engineer Overspace, the producer Scientific. Just a really incredible story that I'm really grateful for. So yeah, that song and all the songs, of course, have a special place in my heart. But that was a moment that you just can't make up. So super blessed for that one.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a lot of things that stand out. The first one is that your default words were like, "I need to shout people out," which like shows just I think how much you value your team and that it's not you're just not a selfish person. You're very giving with just the praise. So I thought that was really awesome too.
Absolutely.
Finding in 2019, allowing someone to have their moment at the same time, like so make something better instead of being like, oh man, like this is too long or like XYZ again, openness right there. And then the initiative to submit it not in just the traditional DSP/Spotify for Artists way to go on grassroots of Twitter, man. You deserve that moment. Like I'm very, very happy for you. You deserve all of that
I
just for the way
appreciate
that
that.
yeah, dude, the way that you painted that was perfect and it makes a lot of sense. I hope artists listening to this, it takes that much time and care and effort. You don't just make a song and upload it and it goes there. He had features, he had Twitter, there's so many different parts of that. He had a team behind it. So amazing job on that, man.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
of course. And, we're talking about your record. That's amazing. Let's also now shift before I ask more questions back to a record that you love and I love so much, which is Care for Me. So let's now do the 3 and the 6 matchup, which
Ooh.
is going to be, I mean, everyone's tough. I totally feel you on this. It's Calligraphy versus Heaven's All Around Me or Heaven All Around Me.
Ooh. Okay. This one, oh my gosh.
Everyone, he's like, oh my.
Like
I
this
get it
is
though.
I think for this one, it's a little bit easier just because Heaven All Around Me is just like, again, one of those, generational tracks. Like there isn't too many artists. Like I could probably count on my finger if I had like three fingers, the amount of people that could make a song like Heaven All Around Me. Again, just creating a vivid picture this time from, Walter's point of view, passing into the afterlife and seeing everyone's reaction to his passing. And just again, that vivid imagery just really strikes you and makes you pause wherever you are, whatever you're doing in that moment, and just really listen to what he's saying. So, we're pushing Heaven All Around Me through.
Yeah, that means great breakdown of it. I do love that song so much. It's so like
It's so good.
warm, although like it might be melancholic. It's very warm
Right.
when you're listening to it. So awesome. That's Heaven All Around Me is moving on. Damn, we're having a crazy matchup between those
Oh
two
my
later on.
gosh. I'm not,
Awesome. I'm now gonna do the fourth one. We're now trying to break my neck. 1 second. So it's gonna be Log Out versus, I believe, Broken Girls.
oh my gosh.
I love how everyone's gonna see your reaction when they see it on YouTube. If you're listening on
Um,
Spotify, go on YouTube and you should just see how invested he is in this. It's awesome.
like this is like this is like telling me to pick between like
Your first and your
losing my
second.
sense of like sight or losing my hearing. Like this is like
Which one would you rather lose? I'm joking. Let's
let's
focus on
let's
the.
let's deal with one
Yeah, let's
problem
do
at a
one at a
time.
time. Sorry, it's the interviewer.
No,
It's the
no, no, you're
interviewer in
good.
me.
You're good. I think for this one, I'm a push Broken Girls through. Log Out again, incredible track with an incredible message. I think just on a more relatable and personal note, like especially coming fresh out of high school and like navigating through the beginning of college, like, broken girls and just like, navigating between all
Hmm.
the situationships and things like that I experienced it. I thank God that, I have a four lifer now. Shout out Anna. But
Love that.
Broken Girls is really hitting hard for me when I was, 18, 19 years old. So we're pushing that through.
Yeah, and like a lot of times our favorite albums tend to be time capsules for a time period in our life.
Yeah.
And like for you to say Broken Girls was it connected to you at a time when like, you were in an environment with probably like There's more people your age. You're in college and high school. You're like exploring different Yeah, exactly. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
And then so I want to ask really quick before we move on. You know, so Chance the Rapper's on Logout.
yeah.
What what was your? Why do you think Chance has not been able to make the quickest comeback? Like, what do you think is going on right now? Because I feel like he had one of the brightest futures in the history of hip hop, and then sadly is. And I love Chance, like I truly
Right.
do.
I think Chance is still a top tier artist in my book. I think that, of
Same.
course, the big day was not as big as he hoped for at all. But if you go through my Twitter and you scroll through my tweets, you'll see I'm a big advocate for Chance and his comeback. I think when he eventually does come back with another album, he's going to shut a lot of people up and people are going to remember just who he is. But I think that just because of, you know, what he did with Coloring Book um, and just how he moved early on in his career, how he established such dominance, and then he kind of went the more mainstream route, I guess you could say, with the big day, and uh, people kind of saw that the music wasn't up to the standard that he had already set. I think it was really a turnoff for a lot of people, and they tapped out really quick. But in all honesty, I know the Big Day probably isn't like the best album, but I don't think it's the worst thing that's ever been made. It's
Yeah,
it's bad. It's not the best, but I think like Eternal with Smino, like that song's fire.
it is.
Now the
Yeah,
the, the bars, are kind of questionable, but I
yeah,
think just, knowing who Chance is, knowing what he's capable of, I think it's dumb to write him off. I really think it's a mistake to write him off. I'm always gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. We can forget about the big day if we need to. Like we can just scrap that from memory, but
yeah.
it's Chance the Rapper. Come on.
I agree. I think it's like, yeah, it's not the worst album ever
Right.
by any means, and I think it's because his previous work was so high quality that like the letdown by the public, I think like almost drowned any positivity in that release. So I agree, man. I'm a big Chance fan.
Right.
He's the highs and lows with Joey Badass is a great song.
Right.
He's been dropping some great records, so I really hope
Seriously.
he continues to do that. And if you hear this, man, we're fans and we believe in you for the next record.
Love you, bro.
Awesome. Seriously, and awesome. Now we're gonna pivot back to another incredible artist, which is you. And
Appreciate that, man.
of course, and we've been talking about it a little bit, and you've been giving bits and pieces of it. So I actually saw that Saba commented on your Inside Out Instagram post, and is it true that Saba is the reason why you started rapping? And what is it about Saba's music that sparked your desire to create your own?
Yeah, so he is the inspiration for me. Well, I wouldn't say he's inspired me to start rapping. Well, he did. I guess take it more seriously and
Hmm.
be more vulnerable with it. I think when I first found his music, that was when I was like, okay, like I need to change my approach about how I'm doing this. I need to come from a place of vulnerability, transparency, and really do the listener a service. I'm not just gonna be putting out empty records that don't benefit the listener or myself. Yeah, my relationship with Saba has been like a really crazy one, and it's something that like I dream of years down in my career. But 2019, obviously, like late 2018, I found his music. 2019, I started making music. And then November 13th, 2019 was when I went to go see him in concert. Funny little backstory. Uh, I was so eager to just like get his attention and like, of course, because he's my favorite rapper. So my brother and I, Shinobi, we posted a video of us dancing to the Pivot Gang song Jason Statham Part 2. And we're like, yo, tag Pivot Gang, tag Saba, all this, blah, blah, blah. So Saba liked it, Pivot Gang liked it. We were geeked out. Um, and Day Day, producer, commented, it was like, oh my gosh, like this is hilarious. And from there, I was like, oh my god, this is like how I can get in. So I DM'd him. We were talking, it was pretty chill. And then he found out I was coming to the concert. He was like, yeah, dude, let me know when you're there. Like you can meet the whole gang and everything. And I was like, oh my gosh,
It's
like
so sick.
I've been making music for less than a year and I'm about to be my favorite rapper. Like this is something like people like take 10 years to do. So fast forward to that. we're at the show. I got on stage. I danced with Joseph Chilliams. It was like this whole crazy thing, like a euphoric night. And then after the concert, they're back at the merch table. And of course, it's crowding up, getting so crazy. People are taking pictures, but of course, it's getting really overwhelming. Christella, Saba's manager, is like, "Look, unless you have merch, you can't take a picture." And I'm like, "I know I did not just come all the way here to not meet my favorite rapper." I see this kid, and I to this day it breaks my heart that I never got his name or information. I was like, "Yo, could I just take your shirt and say I bought merch so I can take a picture with Sab? He's my favorite rapper." He's like, "Bro, of course." Gives me the shirt. I get to go back there, chop it up with him, just fanning out for like 30 seconds to a minute, letting him know how much he's inspired me. And he's like, "Oh, I appreciate it so much." And like the one thing that he said that stuck out to me was like, "I don't know why, but I feel like I'm gonna see you again. Like, I'm gonna see you, like this is not the last time we're gonna meet." Uh,
Hey.
Fast forward, the co-sign for Inside Out happened, and then I met him when I saw him in concert at American University. And then he recognized me. We got to chop it up. He followed me on Instagram that day. I have him on PlayStation. He's
That's so
gave me some
sick.
feedback on some demos and things like that. So I'm very blessed and fortunate for him and Pivot Gang, and just for the love that they've shown me. Even Christella, she gave me her email to send her some questions. When I ever have anything about the music industry. It's just so crazy that my favorite rapper and his entire group rocks to me to some degree. Yeah, he was just like the main inspiration for getting to really kick off my career. Amine was the first rapper I kind of fell in love with back when Caroline dropped.
Hmm.
Of course, like I said earlier, he taught me how to have fun with music. Not to say that he can't be serious in his music. He's proven plenty of times that he can, definitely be serious. But I think from just a melodic sense, he taught me how to have fun and, be with the melodies and stuff like that. And then Saba came along, really how to be vulnerable and, just tell stories. And from there, that's like when I went from just like making more laid back, goofy songs to kind of just like, honing it down and, taking my own approach at, writing songs and really structuring them and create a narrative that I want to share with the world. So, Saba's favorite rapper of all time, forever will be. Just, the biggest Saba fan alive. So
What a great moment when you meet your heroes and they're great people
absolutely.
like that,
Absolutely.
and that's like such a amazing moment, man. You've had like some really dope moments. I'm like, dude, like you got a lot of like I don't know, you got some good mojo, you got some good Spleck going on right there.
Yeah,
I
seriously. Shout
feel
out
like,
God.
yeah, I feel like you have a really, I don't know, man. You seem like a really great and just like great things happen to great people. Cream rises to the top, man. So I'm becoming more and more of a fan as this goes on. And I want to speak really quick on Amine. Yeah, I mean like that Limbo record is like one of my favorites in a
Yeah.
of a 20, like of a long time. I was obsessed with that record when it came out nonstop. I mean, just like some of those, they're beautiful.
Amazing.
So I agree that he can have his vulnerable moments as well. And now, kind of speaking about those two artists, is there any artist in Saba's tier that you think could actually become true superstars? Like, we're always having these conversations about, I don't know if there's a gap of superstars. I saw that one of the people at TDE were saying that.
Right.
Do you see people ascending to new heights? And what do you think defines a superstar in rap?
Oh, I absolutely think that people in Sabbath's tier are like just on the cusp of, breaking out and having that, mainstream superstar type of fame. I think when you look at what Saba has done independently, what Smino has done independently,
Mm-hmm.
with No
Mm-hmm.
Name, they're all just kind of going crazy in their own rights, rightfully so. And they may not have that mainstream push to back them. But I think that, they're literally like the next trio, a generation of superstars to kind of take over, along with people like Mick Jenkins, and people like that. You see JID taking off.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, you know, uh superstardom, I think it's kind of different for everybody. I think, you kind of want to take into account what it means for you to be a star. For me, that looks like, people knowing your name just by saying it. I think, especially with JID and surround sound and the crazy revival that's had.
Yeah.
I
Those
think that,
those that trend is crazy. It's
yeah, it's
awesome.
wild. But, I think that, just being able to have an impact where people know you just by name or playing a couple seconds of your song. And not everybody, strives for superstardom in that regard.
Definitely, yeah, I agree.
That's definitely not, my main focus as an artist, but I could definitely see why that's so attractive, the appeal. So yeah, I mean, you see it already with people like JID kind of taking off to the moon. But I think, people like Saba, Smino, No Name, McJenkins, I think they're more than capable of having that.
Hmm. That, do you love Chicago rappers?
Dude, I love Chicago. It's just
Same,
kind of
dude.
ironic
No,
that they're
I'm
all
totally
just
the same.
from
Yeah, totally the
Chicago.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think there's something, no pun intended, there's something in the water. And
absolutely.
kind of when they were all dropping their mixtapes. And yeah, no, I was talking with one of my friends, and I feel like the true ascension to superstardom happens when you drop like three quote unquote classic albums in a row.
Right,
Like when you see Kanye move from at the end of Graduation, or Kendrick at the end of Damn, or Drake after the run from Take Care to If You're Reading This Is Too Late. Like when you have those three projects that hit the culture
right,
in such a way. So no, I think it's a great answer too. And it means not everybody wants that. It's a lot
right,
of fucking pressure, hate, trolls, whatever the word is. But
right.
and now kind of shifting back to your music a little bit, I want to say congratulations on Glow Stick.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Fire fucking record. Please listen to that,
Thank you.
everybody. But can you walk me through what a Kwajo rollout looks like? What types of content are you focusing on? What marketing channels are you looking to hit up? And which social media platform, excuse me, do you think is the most important for marketing your music?
Yeah, so a rollout for me, obviously I'm kind of learning as I go with each release, seeing what sticks and what doesn't. I think you saw the rollout for Spleck, just kind of how we moved with that, kind of just getting that word in everyone's faces, just letting people know what Spleck was. For me, it's just about intention and kind of, letting every song have its own moment. Like Spleck was its own thing, and we got something for that coming up for the 1 year anniversary. But when you have something like a whole project, uh, versus a single, it's a little bit difficult to navigate between the two just because you don't know how people are going to receive it. But for something like Glow Stick, single at the end of the year, where people are kind of getting ready for that new year, not necessarily like anticipating anything. Definitely went the more traditional route with just like short form content, especially with that song and just kind of the vibe that it gives off. I'm gonna want to do like a cool little visualizer or just kind of some long exposure,
Mm-hmm.
really send that off. But yeah, I have a great community of people who support me. Again, shout out Joey Hip Hop, shout out SK, shout out Creator K, Annabelle Klein, people like that who really make it a point to show me love and show the world, what I have to offer. So it's about, the relationships that I've culminated, sharing my music with them. Um, and yeah, in terms of social media, it's been kind of, again, a learning moment with each one, seeing what sticks. But I often find that um, Twitter Twitter has been really instrumental to getting my music in new ears, just because I have like the videos ready to go for replies under tweets and things like that, and obviously just submitting to different playlists and curators who want to hear new stuff. So that definitely has been the most efficient one. I'm trying to crack the code for TikTok. I've been on there relentlessly posting, but yeah, Twitter for sure has been the most effective one for me personally.
Mm-hmm. And I think the reason why I asked that is because there's going to be, again, other artists listening to this, and I think it's smart for them to get a window into each person's process. And the thing that I love about Twitter, the way that you're going about it, is I've spoken with my team about it. Sometimes it's best, instead of like, TikTok, you're casting a really wide net,
Right,
hoping that you get fans of music or you, whatever. But when you go about, and if you go about it in the Twitter aspect, you're actually going after the early adopters
right,
who care about finding new music and are going to share it with their friends. And I think even to this day, beyond any algorithm, share like you're gonna trust the voice of your friend telling you to listen to something over anyone.
absolutely,
So I think it's very smart that you're going about it in that way. And
absolutely.
I would recommend other people try and meet those incredible people online. Like, I don't know all the people you name. I know Joey. And it's just like, even with the interactions that I've met with, Bryce Fitz or anyone else online, like these people in these communities are really great people. Like,
They
obviously you're going to
are.
find different types of people, but reach out to them, follow in the footsteps that we're laying out here, man. And I think you got a really great, you're in a really great position, man. And I'm really excited to hear that.
I
So,
appreciate that. Thank you, bro.
of course, now let's go, guys. I've just been, you've been killing this interview, and I'm so sorry, but now we got to go to the semifinals, where it's going to
Here we
get
go.
even tougher, because the nature, just like in Hot Ones with the wings getting hotter, the matchups should get harder too.
Oh
So let's
gosh.
go for the left side of the bracket for the semifinals. Let's go Life versus Broken Girls.
Ooh. I'm gonna have to go Broken Girls on this one.
Oh, that was quick. I love it. All
I'm
right,
gonna
break it
have to go
down.
Broken Girls again just because of the personal connection I have with the song and just like I don't know, I feel like the instrumentation, I think that's like one of the most beautifully produced songs ever made. Um and yeah, again, like it's just nothing against Life. I think Life is an incredible record. I think it's again like one of a kind, one of the best songs of all time. But Broken Girls is just like has a more sentimental meaning to me.
hmm Honestly, I mean, like, I'm gonna go home on the way home and listen to this entire album again. Are you surprised with any of the seedings? Like, these are based on popularity. Are you surprised that, like, let's say Calligraphy is number 3, or like that? Like, it's like, you think, like, is there any that surprise you?
Yeah, again, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that I mean, it makes sense that you kind of organize them by streams. But I'm surprised that Fighter didn't make the cut.
Yeah, I
F-
was too.
yeah, like that actually has like snuck up and become one of my favorites. I think just on a relatable note, the content in it, one of the bars, one of my favorite bars of all time. It's harder to love myself when all these people compliment me. Somehow it just remind me what I don't got. Um,
She.
again, for me personally, just kind of just, when people say things about you like, oh, like you're so smart, like all this, blah, 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 especially going through the college application process. And people are like, are you applying to this school, you can so get into this school. Like in reality, knowing myself, it's like, you kind of get imposter syndrome a little bit. It's like, oh, maybe I don't have these qualities for this school, blah, blah, blah. Like you're saying that I'm smart, but like deep down, like I don't feel that, or, just things of that nature. And so again, I have a really deep appreciation for that song. And even jump into like Prom King at number 7, like that, I thought that was going to be like 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah, same.
Um, but it's just it's crazy how different the perspectives are when you look at an album face value just from the streams alone. You can kind of like make an educated guess as to what the heavy hitters are, but like it isn't until you really listen to the album in depth where you can really see what your favorites are.
Yeah, it always surprises me. There's always a couple that surprise me. I agree that
Yeah.
there's some that definitely surprising. Wait, so do you go to American University?
No, I go to the University of Mary Washington, which is a,
Got
s-
it.
a school in Virginia. American is about an hour 20 from me down in DC. My
Got
manager
it.
goes there, so I'm down there a lot. Just catching the free concerts and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's dope. My dad actually went there. It's
Oh,
cool.
that's fire.
Yeah. So dope. All right. Now we have Broken Girls onto the finals, but we got to do the other side really quick. We're
Whew.
gonna be doing Heaven All Around Me versus Prom/King, and they follow each other
They
actually in the
do.
track list. So
They
break it
do.
down for me.
Oh man. Like I think about like Prom King and Heaven All Around Me. Again, like how they like follow each other in the track list. Like Prom King is like that climax in the movie where like you have that one revelation. It's like, the scene where all the quotables are like, like when the movie accounts post like all the chilling scene from so and so.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what Prom King is. And Heaven All Around Me is like that bittersweet ending that, everyone just kind of reflects on after they walk out of the movie. But in terms of just tugging at heartstrings, I think Prom King is like really like practically untouchable. Like you can't like it's hard to knock off. It's really hard to knock off Prom King. So we're sending that through to the final.
Yeah, I think to me it reminds me of like Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst.
Yes.
Where like if that was in a bracket, I'd be pretty confident that might win. So
Right.
No, that was a good example though too. It's like Prom Slash King is like when like Tony Stark is like I am Iron Man, and then
Yeah,
like Heaven All Around Me is like the funeral.
right,
So
exactly.
it's like they're two different things, but they leave you feeling two different ways. So awesome, guys!
Exactly.
Now that we have the finals, I wanted to do a little game though before we finish. So
Let's go.
I was on your Twitter and I saw that you sent out some just I love it, just like incredible artists that you would want to do features with. So I think we should play a game of Would You Rather.
Let's go.
So
Let's do it.
I chose some to put against each other. All right, first one, Jordan Ward or Toby Lou. How about
Ooh, I'm gonna go Jordan Ward. I'm gonna go Jordan Ward. I've been a fan of Jordan Ward since 2019. I just love the energy that he brings to his music. I think that our both our personalities, even outside of music, we just mesh so well together. So definitely Jordan Ward. Nothing against Toby Lou. A lot of people actually, you know, say my music reminds them of Toby Lou, and I think we would also make a great duo. But Jordan just has that energy, and his production and melodies, just everything about him is just so captivating. So I love to make a record with him. Jordan, if you're listening, hit my line, brother.
dude? You got to clip all these.
I
You
would love, yeah,
explaining
I got to
that
just
you
to shoot
got
my
it
shot.
exactly. This is your second shooting your shot. All
Yeah,
right, this one is like I'm really interested in because like I love both these artists so much.
right.
All right, Red Veil or Chris Patrick?
Oh my
I know,
gosh.
dude.
The crazy thing is like Red Veil, he's from Maryland, I'm from Virginia, so we're about an hour away from each other. We kind of have like I kind of have personal connection with both. I've chopped out a Red Veil a bunch of times. I'm really close with his best friend Damari. Uh Oh my gosh. And of course, Chris Patrick is someone who I met in 2020, has showed me a lot of love. And almost actually was on That's Tough. He was almost a consideration for a
Oh
feature on
wow.
That's Tough. And that would have been crazy in itself. But wow. Oh my gosh. Uh, dude, this is like I
this
thought it was
is
gonna be like Drake or Kendrick, but it's like it's Chris or
these are like I try to match them up so they make sense too.
absolutely. Wow. I don't know if I can answer that one. Like, I want to work with both of them so bad, so bad.
How
Man,
about this on the how about this? You open up the That's Tough remix. You can only choose one for which one would it be?
for that stuff, I think I would go with Chris just because of like how like technical and the speed at which like he
Yeah, yeah,
executes songs like that so perfectly. Not to say Red Velvet couldn't do that, but Chris, that's like alley oop to Chris.
yeah. No, Chris has like a really unique approach to flowing while also, I mean, just like his word choices are ridiculous. Like,
Absolutely. Like he inspires me so much. I was actually in a group chat with him and a bunch of other rappers back in 2021, where we did a verse a day. We were just sending a verse every single day, whether that was like from the mic or just like recording it over voice memos. And he was just sending a bunch of just crazy stuff over and over again. And like he continues to serve as a source of inspiration for me, someone who's been in my corner. We performed together at Amfest at American to open up for Rich the Kid. And just, being in his presence, seeing him work and operate, when his go time is it's just super inspirational.
yeah, shout out Noah, Chris, and Dendan. No, they're also. I've spoken to them. They're all amazing guys. If you guys are seeing this,
Seriously. Shout out Six
appreciate you
Star.
guys. Yeah, and then let's do this one's. I'm gonna say this one for us. I'm gonna go to the next one. Healy or Carter Ace.
Oh,
Everyone's like,
oh my
oh, I love it. I love
gosh.
it. I love it. I hope I didn't just pop the mic, Caden. Sorry about
Oh
that.
my gosh, Carter Ace and Healy. Oh my gosh, Carter Ace is someone who I fell in love with his music recently, about like a year ago, and he's been really dope and instrumental of showing me love and things like that. And I'm sure we're gonna get one in eventually. But Healy, man, he is one of my favorite artists of all time. His album Tungsten is right behind Care for Me on the list of my favorite albums. It's crazy talking to Healy during the process in which Spleck was being made. I actually sent him over the initial demo for Sentimental because it was heavily inspired just with the background vocals and stuff by his song Everything's Fine.
Hmm.
And just like sharing that moment with him and Just talking to him about the process of making Spleck and things like that. He was very receptive and actually sat down and we had like a about a 2 hour conversation. Um, just really dope getting his input and his blessing. And
Wow.
he actually has sent me some like unreleased songs as well. Just having those moments with your favorite artist is like, something that like again, like it's something I dreamed of forever. So I would have to go. I would have to go with Healy on this one. Like that would just be a dream come true.
Dude, I'm blown away. Like I bring up these people, you're like, yeah, we've chopped it up a couple of times. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, yeah, it's amazing. Like it's so to have those just dialogues is like those are inspiring, probably enlightening,
Right.
empowering. There's so many different adjectives. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, it's such a blessing, man.
Seriously, man, keep doing that. Just being in those rooms, or just chat rooms, or just anywhere. All
Right.
right, now I love that you named these two female artists, Lizzie McAlpine or Pink Pantheress.
Ooh.
If I'm butchering anyone's name, I'm so sorry. By the way.
No, no, no. You got it perfectly right.
All right, perfect.
Again, like growing up, like I didn't even touch rap. Well, I'll say I listened to rap like casually, like just as everyone did growing up. But it wasn't until like my junior, senior year of high school that I really fell in love with the genre. So before then, growing up was a lot of pop, alternative, rock music, people like Five Seconds of Summer, Paramore, and like folk music, because I play guitar, so anything that's kind of guitar centered, acoustic guitar centered, something that has a special place in my heart. And Lizzie is somebody who I found actually through a friend of mine, Sinya Khan, who is part of Tiny Habits. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but incredible trio. But yeah, again, her music, her folk style, and like her songwriting, is something that I really admire and just really love. So I'd probably have to go with Lizzie. Again, she's one of my favorite artists as well. Her album 5 Seconds Flat is on that list of favorite albums. I don't have a cool story about talking to her,
No, you're
but
good. You're
I would
good.
definitely would love the chance to work with her.
That's awesome. That was a great answer, and just
Yeah,
what a great journey. I feel like you've really grown with a lot of these artists that you love.
yeah,
Which
absolutely.
which is you're not a you're a consistent fan, which is awesome, and now
Yes,
you're
sir.
your own artist. And then finally, this one's tough. Pivot Gang or Amine?
Oh my gosh, like why like I feel like you just set up this interview to just make me answer the hardest questions ever.
I feel like when I do that, you show people the best side of yourself. So
Right.
yeah.
It's crazy. Like I think about this stuff all the time. I feel like if I was in a session with Pivot Gang and like it was just like one big cypher song, like I would probably write the greatest verse of my life.
Hmm.
Like just, being in a room with so many wordsmiths. Um, but with Amine, again, like, he was the foundation for, like again, I credit my sound to two major artists, Amine and Saba. You hear elements of Amine heavily with his album Good For You in Spleck. So oh my gosh, I feel like that journey with making a song with him, again, we would just bounce off of each other so well just because of the energy we curate. Oh my gosh, dude, I'm literally like about to
Um,
start sweating.
yeah.
Oh
we
my,
didn't even do hot wings on this one.
I know, literally. Just because I haven't really met him yet, I'm gonna go with Amine just because I feel like later on down the line, within the next couple of years, hopefully I can get one in with Pivot Gang.
You will.
But absolutely, yeah. What am I saying? I will. Pivot Gang, you watching this? Let's lock in.
Yeah.
But yeah, Amine, I feel like, especially with all the comparisons that I got to him with Inside Out. And it's crazy. Apparently his manager heard that song. So if you're watching this and you're hearing this,
Hell yeah.
I I would love to, make something. But yeah, I'm gonna go Amine. I'm gonna go Amine for this one.
Awesome. Thank you for doing all that. I'm sorry that it was I mean it was you gave me all the names perfectly. So I was like I had to do it. So great job on that.
I
Now man,
appreciate it.
the final tough decision. We are going to go back to the board. Everyone do the final. It is going to be Broken Girls versus Prom/King.
Again, just like, falling back on what I said, like it's Prom/King. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't,
yeah,
like
I
I feel
agree.
like no matter what song was in the final two, like no one really stood a chance. Like it was cute, but like
Yeah.
Prom/king. Like again, like I don't need to explain it further. It's just it wins.
Yeah, no, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's the strongest record here, and especially like in this kind of arena, no pun intended, like the legacy of the song, it's like so universally loved and there's a lot of claim behind it. So no, I think it
Right.
was a great answer. Amazing job on both the questions and the bracket. I kind of
Amazing
want
questions and
to
bracket.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I want to open up kind of space for you to say anything to the audience, to your fans. Is there anything that you want to plug? Please tell everyone your socials, your handles, everything.
Yeah, Spleck was kind of part one. The whole phrase Spleck Macchiato Rivera is something that I would just keep my eyes and ears on. To just to spoil everything, it's a three little trilogy going on. We're gonna have projects from Macchiato and Rivera
Love that.
coming soon. Definitely in the early stages of Macchiato. You're gonna get a different side of me with each one. Just to give a little hint, at macchiato, obviously macchiato, you hear coffee. So coffee brings chill vibes. So macchiato, to put it in picture form, is like a conversation you would have in a coffee shop with somebody. It's going to be real intimate. Just a lot of raps. So hopefully, when that one is done, and out to the world, you guys are going to hear a different side of me. But yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to Plain, my whole team, my manager, my girl, my brother Shinobi, who's actually my twin, by the way. Shout out him.
Hey,
And yeah, I just, Joey, Hip Hop, SK, all the people show me love. Tall Cohen, incredible, incredible, incredible artist. You guys need to check out his album Party for One, his debut album that he dropped back in August. Actually July, I lied. It was July. Sorry, Tall.
in July, July.
In July. Yeah. Shout out Tall Cohen. Shout out Goldie, an artist from Chicago, underground artist. Shout out Pama. Shout out Zuri. Um, Shout out Young Sum. Shout out Michael. Just shout out everybody. Shinobi. Man, I feel like I'm like accepting an award, shouting out everybody right now.
Dude, it's
But yeah, shout out.
you just ran the gauntlet. You finished the bracket, man. This is your award. Yeah,
I
you
know,
you
I
earned this,
know.
dude. You earned this.
Oh man. Shout out you guys for this interview. I truly appreciate you taking the time to do your research and, come prepared and give me the best interview I've had to date. So I really do appreciate you guys for your time and everything you do.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And just to everyone listening, and just even you, I'm gonna kind of reiterate what Saba said. Like I feel like I'll be seeing you again. I think that in life, when things become a pattern, it's because people deserve it, whether it's negative or positive. These blessings that keep happening to you are definitely deserved. So
Appreciate
please
that.
just keep pursuing this with the positivity, ambition, and just initiative. And man, I really can't wait to see how everything plays out for you next year because I think you're gonna have an amazing 2024.
Man, I appreciate that so much, man. We take everything one day at a time. Next year we already kind of got a rough draft of what's gonna go down. So I'm excited for you guys to hear the new music and the new things you bring to the table. But yeah, until then, stay tuned. Make sure you follow me on all platforms at Kwajo on everything. KWAJOOO. Glow Stick is out now, last song of the year. Make sure you guys go stream that. Produced by Ryder Mamo, a Lobster Trapper. Shout out those boys. Mix and mastered by Overspace, the best engineer in the game. And yeah, God bless you guys. Stay safe. Be warm. It's cold. Christmas is coming up. And yeah, stream Spleck, of course. Keep streaming that. And I think that's it. I think that's all I got. But yeah,
Dude, shout out your entire team. Thank you guys for making sure that he keeps releasing amazing music and supporting him. Please, I hope you guys stay together. Keep doing amazing things. The artist name is Kwajo. The album is Spleck. New record, Glow Stick. Please stream everything. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Vibe Call West Radio, episode done.